to our public, but just want to acknowledge you here today for running for office. Congratulations. Glad you're here. Careful. Really careful. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Galius to open prayer.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Our most high and mighty Lord, we stand before you, people who are humbled by the forces of nature and an illness that is unseen, that is sweeping among us. It's taken much from us in terms of treasure, people that we love. In the midst of that, we have your blessings and bounty. Please, we thank you for our first responders, for our military, for the people who keep our county going and make our people feel safe. Let us go to your grace and your comfort and away from fear. And as we approach these problems, let us first seek your counsel and know that your plan is always perfect. Amen.
Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance. Flag. United States. Republic. The records show that we have a full quorum of commissioners. Commissioners, you have the minutes from the March 31st meeting in your packet. If for approval, I'll accept a motion to do so.
So moved.
Second.
Favor, raise your right hand. Approved. We have 2 items added to the agenda. Are they on the agenda?
I don't believe so, Mr. Chairman. The 2 items that we have be I-2A and B for an associate juvenile judge full-time position, and the other one is addressing the COVID-19 closure and PTO.
Very good. Well, we don't have any special presentations or remarks, I don't believe, other than we'll welcome Bob again, our lone citizen. We have nothing on the consent agenda, so we're going straight to the debate agenda. So under new business, Commissioner Malier.
Yes, sir. I make a motion to approve the purchase of replacement equipment from Dell in the amount of $193,728.18.
Michael, that's a lot of money. What are we going to do with all those computers?
Well, this is the standard task that IT performs each year. They maintain an inventory of all of the computer equipment that we have in the county. It comes time every 3 years to get rid of the old and bring in the new. So this $193,720 is for us to bring in new equipment. This is a larger group. Just the way that it's worked out, that we have more pieces of equipment that we're placing this year than past years. We did work out an agreement with Dell last November that the commission approved. So this is heavily discounted. Approved IT cycling through all this new equipment departments.
So is this the new number that we'll be working with for years since we rotate?
Go every 3 years. This you won't see this batch come through for another 3 years. Next year, chances are it'll be less.
This is a budgeted expense.
Yeah, this is a budget expense.
We do it every year, but it's partitioned in a 3-year rotation.
Exactly.
Any other questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. Mr. Allen.
Sir, I'd like to make a motion to approve the alcoholic beverage license for DP Enterprise Augusta Incorporated, doing business as Faux Augusta.
Second.
Blocker.
Request for a alcohol license.
Questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. Carries.
I'd also like to make a motion to approve the alcoholic beverage license for Insci 3 LLC, doing business as Shortstop.
Second.
Off-premise license we have.
Actually, it's Omsci 3. Is it Omsci or Insci? Motion sheet says in, the green says Okay, so we're going to go with Omsci. Shortstop.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Commissioner Richardson.
Yes, sir. I'll make a motion to approve the easement encroachment for Stephen Bouse located at 219 Callahan Drive.
Second.
A private property that has a 10-foot drainage and utility easement on the rear of the property, the standard drainage utility easement. Build a pool that will encroach into that easement. We have no infrastructure there. Staff has reviewed it. We're comfortable with granting this easement. And if we do have to get in there, though, it's the
Questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. Carries.
I make a motion to approve the architectural services proposal from Harley and Associates for the Sheriff's Office Detention Center re-roof project in the amount of $55,000.
Second.
This is the engineering, the architectural services for a re-roof. The sheriff came to us, budget request, so that he had some major issues. We were able to identify some existing funds, prepare the bid documents, and we have the money to actually pay for the work. I think it is. It's our first step to get the bid documents put together, out, and we'll get bids and bring that back to you for approval.
Question, I'm thinking with a roof, I'd bring in a roofing company and get quotes. You have to spend $55,000.
Not a standard, shingles on it. This has a lot of penetrations in it. Mr. Carberry's been out there with Mr. Prather. They've walked it. A lot of elevation changes. It's quite the process. It's not a standard asphalt shingle, thermoplastic type material. It does take a little more spec building than just they give us a price for some shingles.
I think I got my house done for $6,000.
Move to the jail, then you can.
You're gonna have a
I
new
shall
roof on that house.
never be in that situation. Mark those words. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Carries 5-0. On to the extra items. Associate judge position.
Yes, sir. Per the Chief Superior Court Judge's order, I make a motion to approve the full-time appointment of Associate Juvenile Judge Kelly Spencer at an annual salary of $100,000 to be paid according to the existing funding formula for the circuit to be effective April 30th, 2020.
I believe it's for the month of April.
For the month of
Order would be
April.
for the month of April. They're trying to, we would have to go back and pay her for the entire.
Okay. So she's already been working?
She actually is working.
Okay. So for the existing funding formula for the circuit to be effective for the month of April 2020.
Second.
Doctor, will you please explain why we should vote?
Or Mr. Johnson.
I'm sorry. You just looked alike.
He can.
But looking at
him. Yeah. So this is a situation where we have a part-time judge in the circuit that was originally working primarily for Columbia County. That part-time judge's position really moved to Richmond County. There's an urgent need for a full-time judge. Judge Brown, as the chief of the Superior Court, has the ability to order that amended salary adjustment. So that's what we have here. Since Columbia County is the fiscal agent, juvenile judges and juvenile court in the circuit, it has to come to this body for approval. Just moving Judge Spencer from a part-time salary of $50,000 to a full-time salary of $100,000. It will be paid by the circuit. So in the past, Columbia County was paying the full $50,000 on this. Now we're going to pay our percentage, which is either 35 or 37%. So it's less than what we were paying.
Questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. One more.
I make a motion to approve ending the official closure of county offices due to COVID-19 on Friday, April 24th at 5 p.m. and reopening most county offices on Monday, April 27th at 8 a.m. I make a motion to give the county manager the authority to reopen all other county offices, facilities, and activities at the appropriate time. Also make a motion to approve the COVID-19 PTO buyback program as outlined in the memo presented.
Second.
Johnson, you want to explain?
Yes, sir. As you know, this body took action on Tuesday, March 17th, 2020, to officially close county buildings and facilities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. That was effective from Wednesday, March 18th, 2020, 8 a.m. until further notice. We have now gotten guidance from the governor that there is an ability to phase in reopening. Although we were essential, being government all along, this body felt it was in the best interest of our citizens and our public to scale back our county operations, which we've done for quite some time now. So we are recommending the reopening, or actually the closure ending Friday, April 24th at 5 p.m., and then the staff coming back full-time on April 27th at 8 a.m. We're going to use that week of April the 27th to get the county facilities prepared for the public to come back in. It will not be open to the public that week. So we'll be preparing that entire week and then open up to the public on May the 4th. The other part of the motion made by Commissioner Malier, give me the authority to reopen other county offices, facilities, and activities. I don't think it's prudent at this time to open up the senior center. We may have to open up the library in a limited capacity, and we have also closed activities such as youth sports. So rather than bringing those items back to the Board of Commissioners, the motion is asking to give me the authority at the appropriate time, certainly consulting with the board, but not actually having a formal vote, to be able to phase those back in at the appropriate times. And then the last piece of this motion has to do with the PTO buyback program. Again, as you know, many of our employees worked in the office during the official closure. We have a policy that allows for those that work during an official closure to be able to be compensated in the form of PTO for that time that they work. And we actually did that hour for hour early on, but since the closure lasted so long, we reverted back to the policy on April the 6th that basically said that they would get 8 hours, credit for 8 hours for the official closure. We've been keeping up with all those PTO hours. Just in the fire department alone, we're at some 32,000 hours of PTO that have been accumulated since the closure with all of our firefighters. Pretty close to that with the sheriff's office as well. And then you have between 75 and 100 employees on the BOC side that have been working to keep the county operational, actually being physically here during this period. So our recommendation, rather than to have employees have all this PTO that they have to take by the end of the year, and having all your mission critical people that were working during this period now all gone for the second part of the year, was to look at the possibility of a buyback program. I did look at the funding sources for this and was able to determine that we can fund this buyback program in the manner that it's laid out with existing funds. We have enough salary savings on the DOC side. The sheriff has enough salary savings in his fund. We can use budgeted funds that are coming from IPTF for the fire services to be able to cover the firefighters. And basically what it would do is it would allow employees that work during that period to sell a portion of their PTO back to the county at their regular rate of pay if they qualify. And there are certain qualifications that are laid out. I won't go into those unless you want me to answer those specifically. And that way the employee can essentially cash in potentially half of their PTO and then use the other half of their PTO. I think it's also a really good reward for the employees that went above and beyond during the closure, that made the effort to come to the office every day and worked extremely hard to keep the county running every day. Everybody from our firefighters, sheriffs, deputies, to our water utility, our building inspectors. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out our division directors and our folks behind the scene, the people in the administrative office, PR manager, our executive assistant, our clerk, our deputy managers that work nearly every day during the closure. Our folks in EMA, 311 have worked every day during the closure. And this will be a good reward for those folks as well to be able to get additional cash. And again, we're going to be able to do this within budget. We're not going to exceed the current budget amount with any of these buybacks. I'll answer questions if you have any.
Yeah, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention and acknowledge, as you did, the hard work that everybody put in under difficult circumstances. Even though you had diminished staff, the expectations of the public didn't go down at all. So I commend everyone for doing that, and thank you, Mr. Johnson.
On this, we'll have to use the remaining time that they have by the end of the year, or is it something that they can carry forward to next year, or a percentage, or how will that work?
Yes, sir. So we have a policy that says when you get to a certain amount of PTO accumulated, first of all, you must use 120 in a calendar year. That was something that the board voted on several years ago. You have to use 120 to be able to carry anything over. I'm going to approach this in a phased method. I'm going to approach this now with doing the buyback and trying to buy some of this PTO down. If we get towards the end of the year and we see that we have a lot of employees that, because they just couldn't take it, I may come back to this body and ask that we suspend that rule for 1 year to allow the carryover to occur just this next year. But I'd like to wait to get to that point before we actually take action on that. Yes, sir.
I think we need to be open to looking at however we need information, but
Absolutely.
I want to comment also how everybody did step up. As far as I know, we didn't miss a beat. I know some of the people out there were saying we weren't getting to certain things and some certain services were getting dropped or whatever, but when you really check on that, I don't think that was an issue at all. And with Paul and his department and those guys, and keeping a industry that keeps a lot of people employed, keeping that going like it happened, hats off to y'all.
We staggered services. We didn't bring everybody in every day. We staggered. It got to the point where our grass was getting high in certain areas. We had to bring grass cutting crews in. We brought them in for a couple of days, and then we sent them back. We used people as needed and tried to be responsible about how we did that. And I think the plan that we had in place was as good a plan as we could have had. If I look around and when I speak to the other county managers, I'm on a listserv with other county managers all over the state, and everybody was pitching their idea about how they did it. And I think everybody was impressed with the way Columbia County was able to pull this off compared to what some of the other counties did.
Well, if you had a chance to prepare for this for a year and to put a plan in place, you might have done some things different.
Absolutely.
When we were
Yes,
shooting from the hip and moving forward and getting it done.
Thanks, sir.
I second what Gary's saying. Thank you so much to the employees who went above and beyond during this time. We have great employees, and I'm proud to be part of this team. I do have one question, Scott, when we were talking about this, of the three parts of this motion, the middle part being giving you the authority to reopen things as you see fit. Will you please just keep us apprised of what's going on so we don't get hit out in public somewhere? Hey, I hear you opening up the so-and-so, and we don't.
Yeah, no, I absolutely will. So we just did that so we didn't have to wait for a commission meeting before we open something up. But before anything is opened back up, I will make sure each of you are consulted and you all know what's going on and what our rationale is before that, before we take any action. Ahead of time, before it happens, not after.
I appreciate you guys most.
I was going to say that. No,
Nothing left to say. You just a fantastic job, and they're certainly deserving. And I think this is a wonderful idea and plan that you have in place to help compensate the people that very much deserve it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. We don't have a lawyer, so I guess we don't have any legal matters. No requests for review by committee. Bob, public comment?
Thank you.
Executive session, we have 2 items. I believe we can handle an open session. We have them. Rock and roll.
I make a motion to approve $41,320 to Wayne Peliquin, parcel 123, $42,000. Wayne Peliquin, parcel 126, $11,151 to Wayne Peliquin, parcel 189, $7,914 to Peliquin, parcel 190, $16,814 to Wayne Peliquin, parcel 191 to obtain right-of-way and/or easements for SR 28 Ferry widening project.
Second.
Close, are we?
This one, we have about 33 to close, but we think we actually made offers on all. A lot more of these. We brought the right-of-way staff back.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Carries.
I make a motion to approve $700,000 to Rebecca and John D. Easley, Jr., parcel 19, to obtain right-of-way and/or easements for the Lewiston Road widening project.
Second?
This one is, it says 7587. That's accurate. This is one we already took action on earlier to condemn. Negotiation that happened prior to the court taking action on the condemnation. So this is basically a settlement agreement. Down to on this project, we're down to 5 settlements that we're working through right now. We'll be bringing to you. Goes to proceed for this project actually went into effect today.
This is for the house and the whole property, and
This is actually just for 2 acres of land. That's a 5-acre parcel right there in the Kroger area. High valued land.
questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. That hurt.
Thing about it is, I think settlement from where it could have ended up, so.
I believe if we'd have ended up fair for both parties.
Any reason we need to keep meeting?
Make a motion, we adjourn, sir.
Second that one too.
All in favor, raise your right hand. For history.